includes self-development. What I've come to realize is that God, who I call God, sometimes put us through challenges to build up what he's already placed inside of us. When I think back to who I was just 2 years ago and many of the situations that I find myself in today, I wouldn't have known how to handle them had I not gone on this journey, you guys. I had to develop what was already inside of me because a lot of places that I find myself in today and that I know I'm going to be in my future, that woman who I was before I started unpacking my life and finding out actually who Vet was, she didn't have the mindset capability. She didn't have the mindset to be in those rooms. She didn't have the mindset to know that she deserved better. I didn't have the mindset to know that I was worthy of happiness because I had gone through so many challenges. I was beat down at one time in my life. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I want to talk to you guys about the relationships and why we sometimes find ourselves in some really bad situations. So if you've been with me on this journey for a while, you know that prior to me coming here to Chicago, I was involved with someone. Um, I have a great deal of respect for this person because he helped me through a tough situation in my life. When we met in 2017, I wasn't expecting to fall for him the way that I did. What he brought out of me is the ability to say, you know what? Wait a minute. I am capable to be loved again. I am lovable. I am beautiful. I do deserve to be happy again. He brought that out of me. And in turn, I showed him his worth. I showed him his worth. And together, we had a lot of good times. We had some phenomenal times. We had a lot of fun together. We helped heal each other, I believe, but it didn't end up working out. See, when you have two broken individuals who don't necessarily know that they're broken, it may not work. What I started to realize, because the red flags were waving in my face, even though I kept trying to dismiss them. I kept saying, shoo, go over there. I don't want to hear it. He makes me happy. He makes me feel good. And I'm sure he was saying the same thing. But that red flag, eventually, it was blocking my vision. It was like, you see what's going on here. You know what's going on here. So it didn't work out. And through my unpacking, I've come to realize why it didn't work out. Because again, when you have two broken individuals who may not necessarily know that they're broken, someone has to heal. Someone has to heal. And there came a time in our relationship where we were super mega dependent on each other to bring us happiness that we couldn't find within each other, that we couldn't find within ourselves. We expected the other one to bring us that happiness. We both had some issues that we didn't deal with. We both come from similar backgrounds as far as poverty and oppression, and not seeing, not seeing people doing very, very well. I don't like to use the term ghetto because it just seems so derogatory. I'll say low income, and you guys get my drift. So we didn't necessarily see anyone doing very, very well. What we saw was drug dealers, coming up. We saw or heard of a lot of violence in our neighborhoods. That's what we had to deal with. On top of that, we had some personal issues that we weren't dealing with. So we had to start healing from that. And what I came to realize, you guys, is that sometimes we hold on to people because we have certain issues, and one of my issues was abandonment. I had abandonment issues. My grandfather, who was my superhero, left me when I was 5 years old, and that loss actually set me up for, because it wasn't addressed and we had no idea what it was. I wasn't able to come back from that loss. I actually carried it with me until adulthood. Now, I was born in the 70s. I did not know anything about depression. Depression was not something that we spoke about. Mental illness was not something we spoke about, talked about. Crazy, was a derogatory term that was used in my neighborhood for people that walked around talking to themselves. That was something, we didn't know that there was an underlying illness there, that was something that with treatment that person can snap out of. We didn't know that. So my challenges with abandonment, it was never addressed until now. I'm doing the self-work, I'm doing the work, and I realized that one of the reasons we held on to each other for so long, I feel, is that both of us had abandonment issues. You see, as I spoke about in my last episode, when you have that person, that an important person leave you in your life, and you no longer have that safety net, you may suffer with abandonment issues. If you have a mom that wasn't really in your life and you're being raised by someone else, or your dad was never in your life, you're going to look for that. You're going to always feel as though when you give your love to someone that they're going to leave you unless you resolve that issue within yourself. And I realized that we were holding on to each other for fear that no one else would love us, for fear that we would never have anyone of importance in our life. It's like holding on to a dress or a pair of shoes that are busted. They're busted. They're all ran over, but it's comfortable and you're familiar with it. And to throw it away makes you feel like you lose a piece of yourself. That's what I believe we were feeling, and that's why we held on so long. It even got to a point where we weren't in a relationship anymore, but we still held on to each other as a safety blanket for comfort, to like a rubber band that springs out, but it bounces right back. We were in that rubber band just bouncing right back for fear that if we stepped out of that rubber band, we wouldn't have anything else. So this is going to be short, you guys. I just wanted to say that sometimes, again, God places us in situations for a reason. You know, those challenging days that we have, there's a lesson in those days, and there's a lesson in those relationships. Because when I think back to my life over the last 10 years, I had to go through all of it, you guys. I had to go through all of it. Had I not gone through any of those challenges, had I not faced any of those obstacles, I wouldn't have been able to be the person that I am right now. It's impossible. You can't go through life and not have any challenges come up, because the way life is set up, there's going to be something. Every other moment, there's going to be something. And if you don't have the experience of facing and conquering those challenges, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure. So what I want to leave you guys with today, and again, it's going to be short. Look at your relationships and ask yourself, what is it about this relationship that's keeping me here? Is it growth that you're going to have at the end because you know deep down that that relationship is not long term? Are you in it because you're looking to grow and get you ready for the next relationship, the next best thing? Or are you staying in it because you really don't know who you are and you don't know your potential, that you can have better? What is it that is keeping you in that position that you're in right now? What is it that's keeping you in any situation that you're not happy with? What is it? Ask yourself that. Do a little unpacking. It helps. We have to find out who we are. And to do that, it's going to take a little bit of digging. You're in a hole right now. You're in a hole right now. You can either use that dirt that keeps getting thrown on you to lift yourself up by unpacking it, or you can stay down in that hole and just let that dirt bury you. The choice is ultimately up to us, what we want to do with our lives. It is. I would not lie to you. I would not lie to you. Believe you me. All right.